season 4, and I am so excited about what I just shot in the finale. And
Ooh, what was it?
There's been some,
oh my God.
there's been some good stuff going on. Make sure that you're locked into that roller coaster.
So you
What's
mentioned
that bar called that you have to do?
The lap bar.
Safety
Yeah.
bar, lap bar. Get your lap bar clicked in.
Well, what can you tease? Obviously, you don't want to give anything away, but what can you say about why people should get that lap bar on?
Well, I think we have not had on the show to date a villain who is as formidable as Mr. Kaplan. This is somebody who knows all the secrets, knows all the truths, knows about the crimes and the bodies being buried, knows everything, like one of Reddington's closest confidants. So that is very different, and it's very emotional, and it becomes incredibly personal. I remember when we were talking about it, John Eisendrath, we have these sessions early in the season and occasionally throughout the season where we kind of get the room together. Our room isn't, we have a great staff and a big staff, so we divide up a lot. And occasionally we all get together and it's sort of like Thanksgiving, and we're like, well, what about this? And what did you like there? What worked and what didn't? And it was thrown out almost as a joke of, well, what is Mr. Kaplan thinking now? How does Red confront her? He's been very clear about how he deals with betrayal and loyalty, and it was almost thrown out sort of like, what about that? What about Mr. Kaplan? And we kind of giggled, and then it was like, whoa, wait a minute. That is really interesting. And again, it comes from a very organic place within the story. So I do think you're going to see emotional turns, blacklisters still, and reveals about the mythology which which we have not yet landed, that in sort of as a seismic way as we will by the end of the season.
It was.
It's really fun. It's just.
And it's real. Like there's stuff coming up in the next episode that you'll see, which deals a lot with Samar and Aram's tension, and why he would go with Janet, and why they keep. Jodie Walker at PW once said, I thought this was really good. People are always like, she's like, I don't think Samar and Aram is will they, won't they? I think it's can they or can't they? It's like, I don't know if they can or can't, which is also a heavier, more dramatic. And a lot of times we're doing that scene and we're like, how are we going to get out of this? How are we going to get along after this one? And of course, 2 episodes later, I'm like, So it's a thrill.
That happens, right?
Also, we got to see Mr. Kaplan's love interest. That was the best. That scene was the best. How she became Mr. Kaplan as her girlfriend.
When I read that, and you must be Mr. Kaplan, I was like,
the best.
So
It's so good.
I was like,
It's the best.
Guys, how
That's
did you
brilliant.
That was so fabulous.
And Catherine, so it's still Kate, but what's her name was Kaplan.
No, it just.
And then it's a perfect.
Actually, I get shivers when I read that.
Well, again, that I think is one of those things that's an emotional. It comes from an emotional place, and so within this, all the crazy guns and all the chasing and explosions, all of a sudden there's this little moment that's about why this person is who they are and how they kick the name sort of as not a remembrance. I'm searching for that word, but like a badge of honor. A love story.
Yes.
And then it sort of defined who she is, and so that was a lot of fun to talk about and think about. And
awesome.
The unearthing of these corpses, it really is the springboard forward to where we're going. I think more so than what each body represents, and there are Easter eggs and nuggets and secrets there that we're going to be revisiting some of those bodies specifically.
Easter eggs.
Well, well, some of those there are little Easter eggs there, but also I think they're it really presents not only Reddington and Liz, but the entire task force with a question that that is hard to wrestle with about who they've become. Who, not only what was the relationship between Kaplan and Reddington and the promise that was made, and how far is Kaplan willing to go to show him that he has become somebody who is he sort of lost himself perhaps. But the entire task force is confronted with that as well. They've been working with and turning, the other cheek and walking away and turning their back on crimes that I don't
Ish.
ish they've allowed to happen, or
Red,
that maybe in
Red
some
dupes the
cases
task force
Okay,
very
defend yourself. Go and
often.
defend yourself.
Yeah.
And Cooper tries to stop him, but Red is too
But
smart.
these are all Red's dirty deeds.
But then we're like, we got a better bat. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
like fighting with the creator
for,
about like.
no, for sure. But they
All
are.
right.
But some of these bodies represent crimes that have happened after the existence of the task force.
Yeah,
Okay.
and under
that-
their watch.
Yes, and under their watch, and that's going to present
They're
a
aware.
real problem. We introduce a new character, Julian Gale, who who comes in next week, I believe, and sort of represents the problem that they have on their hands, and it is significant.
Holds the mirror. He holds the mirror up.
Yeah, he really does, and forces everyone to sort of re-examine what the relationship is here, and are we going to let this guy take us down too or not? It's a very complex dynamic, and it's a new dynamic that we haven't had yet. But what happens when this can of worms is opened by Mr. Kaplan, and it's a good one.